Hello everyone! Today I'm excited to share an unboxing of my recent book haul. You may have heard that Korean author Han Kang was awarded the 2024 Nobel Prize in Literature. Such an incredible achievement, yay. And have you heard of Han Kang author before? Or maybe you are already familiar with her works. I've known about her name for a long time, but for some reason I never got around to reading her books. I always thought someday when the time feels right, I'll pick them up. Well, the day has finally come. Yay. When the Nobel Prize announcement was made a few weeks ago, I was both shocked and overjoyed to see her receive this prestigious honor. And it felt like the perfect moment to dive into her writing. Luckily, Korean is my native language, so I decided to order her original works in Korean. I used bandibooks.us.com. I'm gonna leave the link below in the description. This is a website for purchasing Korean books in the US. And since the books shipped from Korea, it usually takes 1 to 2 weeks to arrive. And by the time they get here, it often fun surprise because I usually forget what I ordered. So here, what I got in my Han Kang book haul. Here we go. Let me share these titles with you. I ended up getting 6 books in total. So the first book is called 소년이 온다, The Human Act. This novel is based on the true events of 1980 Gwangju uprising in South Korea. And this book, it examines brutal suppression of the democratic uprising and lasting trauma it caused, focusing on different characters connected to a young boy who was killed during the riot. Gwangju Uprising 1980 was May 18th to 27, 1980, and it became a really important pivotal event in South Korea's modern history. And this is a democratic uprising in response to political oppression and authoritarian rule under President Chun Doo-hwan. And a year before, in 1979, military general Chun Doo-hwan had a coup d'etat, and then he gained the power and he became a president. And during its violent suppressions, this uprising is now regarded as a turning point in South Korea's struggle for democracy. And a movie called Taxi Driver, I don't know if you ever heard of it. The main character is Song Kang-ho, who also starred at the Parasite movie. And you may check it out to watch it. So that is the first book. And second book is called 채식주의자, Vegetarian, 2007 work. And it says this novel tells the story of a woman who suddenly decides to stop eating meat and triggering a series of tragic and transformative events within her life. And this book has a very unique style and an exploration of bodily autonomy, violence, and social conformation. The second book is. And then the third book is a poetry collection. 서랍에 저녁을 넣어두었다. English title will be I Put in the Evening in the Drawer, or I Put the Dinner in the Drawer, but this English edition is not available yet. So this is a poetry collection. And the fourth book is Korean, we say 작별하지 않는다. English edition will be We Do Not Part. And this novel will be published next year, January 2025 in English. This book, Do Not Part, delves into themes of friendship and historical trauma set against a backdrop of Jeju Island and its tragic history, particularly the Jeju 4-3 incident. This is another very tragic incident happened in modern Korean history. And that this story follows a character named Kyung-ah, who embarks on a journey to help her friend In-sun, uncovering buried family stories and confronting a dark historical legacy. And for your information, this Jeju 4-3 incident is also known as Jeju Uprising, occurred on Jeju Island, South Korea, between March 1947 and September 1954. And this is the time in Korean history so many changes happened. 2 years before 1945, World War II ended, and then Korea finally got independence from Japanese invasion, right? And then 1950, there was a war between North Korea and South Korea. And North Korea is backed by Russia, and South Korea is backed by United States. That's what happened. And then in Jeju Island, what happened 1947 and then 1948 is that time Korean government, backed by U.S. military advisors, they want to have two separate government, North Korea and South Korea. And Jeju Island people, they do not agree with it, and they want to support the reunification with the North and protested the government's actions. But that escalated into violent suppression. It says the South Korean government, supported by U.S. military advisors, deployed police paramilitary groups to crushing the uprising. This led to widespread atrocities, including the destruction of villages, mass arrest, and killing of civilians accused of being communist. So regular civilians were accused as communists. So you're a communist, and then we're killing you. That's what happened, right? So by the time the conflict ended, an estimated 25,000 to 30,000 people, about 10% of Jeju population, had died, and with many others imprisoned or displaced. So this is a tragic incident called the Jeju 4-3 incident. And then this book, Do Not Part, is based on that tragic incident, Jeju 4-3. And then the fifth book I got is Korean called Hirap Shigan, Greek Lessons. It's a 2011 works. And this book, Greek lesson, follows a woman who loses her voice and a Greek language teacher who struggles with his own personal issues. And this novel explores the themes of silence, communication, and connection. And the last but not least, a called English title will be The White Book, 2016 work. And it is a poetry meditation on life, death, and memory. And this book reflects on the loss of Han Kang's older sister who died shortly after birth. And this book combines prose and poetry and focusing on objects and images associated with the color white. Alright, so the total 6 books. Yay. Okay, 6 books I got. Among these books, I'm going to start with Human Acts first. Human Acts, 소년이 온다, high school student who was killed during the democratic Gwangju uprising in 1980. And I read an article about this novel, is that it was not easy to read this book because this book really brings readers to face with the intense pain of the author, because this book is especially true since it's based on the true story of a high school boy who was killed during the democratic uprising. So when I feel I'm ready to take on the pain from this book, then I will dive in and I will share my thoughts with you once I've read it. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video, and please take care. Bye bye.